Hello, my yarnie friends. I'm Sara Sach, and it's time for another edition of This or That. And what this or that is I ask you a question about yarn or crochet related items, questions I've gotten during the weeks, and I ask you the same question. I try to answer it in my own opinion, and then you can give me your opinion as well down in the comments. And please do comment. I love to read your comments. It's really fun to hear where you're coming from, because just because I think a certain way about yarn or crochet doesn't mean that you do. And so when you comment, I get your thoughts and ideas, and it'll help me along the way in designing patterns and things like that, or even just topics to discuss. If you have a question that hasn't been answered, go ahead and put that question down in the comments as well, and I'll try to get to it. I'll write those down in my book. I've got a book over here that I write all my questions down in, and then I try to answer those as they come along. So today's topic or question is about shawls. Do you wear shawls? Do you give shawls? Some people don't even like shawls, and that's okay. But I want to talk to you about two different kinds of shawls that I do really love to make and give away. The first kind of shawl is this one here. This is an open and lacy shawl, but what I'm talking about is the style of it, which is a large, a great big large triangle. This is my favorite shawl for summer, but you can make this particular style, of course. Let me bring it up higher so you can see it has a triangle on the bottom. It's just a great big triangle. They're fun to have in the summer, maybe to wear over a sundress. They're fun to have in the winter if you make it solid and warm. It's great for change of seasons when it's starting to get cold or starting to get warm, but it's that in between and you just maybe want a little extra. Sometimes I keep one in the car because the restaurants around here, when it's hot in the summer, they pipe that air conditioning to where it's like wintertime inside that restaurant. And they also do that at my church and other places, the movie theater. And so I like to have a shawl with me, so if I get a little chilled, I can just cover up. And so I love triangle shawls. The other type of shawl that I really, really love is just a long rectangle with some sort of a lovely stitch. Isn't this one beautiful? This one is a sparkly one. And they're really super easy to make because they're usually just a couple of row repeat. I think this one is just a 2 row repeat. Isn't that beautiful? And I love them because you can drape them. You can use them as a scarf. You can use it as a hood. It has lots of wonderful uses. They're also great to have in the car for those cold restaurants and places. But really, shawls are a preference. So what the question is for today's video, this is something that I have been asked many, many times, and that is, which style do you prefer? Do you prefer a triangle shawl or do you prefer a long rectangle? I personally can't decide because I love them both. I'm a shawl person. A lot of people aren't. But I also love to make them and give them away. I love walking up to someone that maybe has had a rough week or something and just wrapping a shawl around them and say, I made this for you. I'm thinking about you. And I usually put a little note on there. And then I usually just walk away. And a lot of times they're like, what just happened? And I like that too. I don't do it because I'm expecting a thank you or anything in return. It kind of goes along with the theme that I chose for this year, which is others. I like to choose a word every year. And of course, I told you a couple weeks ago on one of our live videos that my word for 2024 is others. And so what I'm trying to do in designing and making shawls is not only make some for myself, but to make some that others would love. And so it will help me a lot to know which style of shawl you prefer. I don't have a preference. I love them both. I like to have both around. They're fun to have on the back of a chair in case you get cold. And they're also, when you make them out of a light number, like a light, I think it's a light, it might be a 3 that I prefer. I'm trying to think of the sparkly one here is a 3. The teal one is a 4 weight. This is a 3 weight. But when you make them out of a lighter yarn like this, you can fold that up and carry that along, and it's not something that's going to be, you know, like a big bulky blanket or something. It's just nice to have around all the time. So this question has to do with, what do you prefer to make? What do you prefer to wear? And what do you prefer to give? Are you a rectangle shawl person or a triangle shawl person? Which do you prefer to make, to give, or to wear? All right, please do answer this question down in those comments, because that will help me in future designs of shawls. Also, feel free again to ask a question down in those comments, and I will do my very best to get you an answer. I always say, if I don't know the answer, I will try to find the answer for you. Alrighty, everybody. I'll see you next time for another edition of This or That.